Hello friends, Jennifer Pearson here, Thistle Gypsy with a finished with that, a deck interview with the Dark Mansion Tarot. So let's take a look and see what it gives me for 6 questions. So first one is, how would the deck describe itself? Ooh, the Hanged Man, Dracula. So maybe a deck for the night and not for the daytime. A deck for mysteries, not for the mundane. I don't think it's a bloodsucker. That wouldn't strike me at all. But yeah, there's that. What is your opinion of me? So the deck's opinion of me. Uh-oh. This might mean that it considers me a mismatch. If it thinks of me as the sun and itself as the Hanged Man, we could be in trouble. What is one thing you ask of me? The 4 of Swords. So that's interesting. I feel like this deck's giving me some attitude. I feel like it's saying, give it a rest. Huh. Let's take a look at the next one. What is one thing the deck asks of me? The Wheel of Fortune. So I feel like it is saying to put it away for a while. How interesting. To give it some time. It could also just be saying to use it seasonally. Could be. So let's continue. What's next is, how will you challenge me? I think it's already challenging me. The 5 of Pentacles. So that's curious. So I could see, a deck challenging me in terms of its price, but I've already paid for it, so I'm not sure how it would challenge me in that regard. No, this deck certainly is not poor. It's a very rich deck. So yeah, I confess I find that a little bit baffling, or it's hard to orient on what part of the cards it's referring to. How will you challenge me? I don't think it's a deck that necessarily requires, in this case, one of the things that's challenging is this person has to go slow. And I don't see why this would be a deck that would take a lot of study or anything. If anything, it's very appealing because it's both very beautifully done, very rich colors. It's a very tantalizing deck, and should be, as far as I can see, very usable right out of the box. So interesting. And I feel like this deck, even though it's asking for me to take give it a rest, or, there's the sun and the moon there, so maybe it does want to be used at night for whatever reason. These deck interviews are interesting, but they're not intended to be super serious. All right, so let's go on to number 5. What is the potential outcome of our time together? The 8 of Swords. So I feel like this deck is giving me some attitude. Already straight out of the box. 8 of Swords. Swords. So one of the things I've started to see about the Eight of Swords is it being a setting of boundaries. So I feel like I'm being warned that I could create some artificial boundaries, which of course I just was through this reading, and I have such a poor memory that all of this will be gone, and so the likelihood of my thinking, oh, I can only use this deck at night, are slim to none. It's just the way I'm looking at the cards and how they're turning out. But I could see, I don't know, I think the imagery of this card is not overly dark to me. It's not. And so I could see using this deck in my community, maybe not, because, you know, they're already spooky about tarot and that sort of thing anyway. But certainly online, people who are looking for readings, I would have no hesitation using this deck. Like I said, it strikes me as a little bit of a love deck, that it has some nuances that work, you know, for that sort of thing, some alterations in the focus of some of the cards. So lastly, what readings do you enjoy the most? The Chariot. Wow. Changes, moving. Kind of balancing the movement with the black and the white horses. So since this is the Dark Mansion, I could see it, you know, indicating that it likes to be paired with a lighter deck. Although I don't really see this, I really don't see this deck as being terribly dark. Even if it has the Dark Mansion theme and the Halloween theme, and there is that dark aspect. It's also kind of whimsical, and I don't know, to me it's just not very creepy. It's not, I think it's great. I think it could be used really anytime, even if it can't be used for all people. I think it could be used for any time. And for most reasonably balanced people, it is not a creepy deck. Let me look. I'm just going to go quickly through it and say what cards are particularly creepy. So I would say this, although, you know, in a regular deck it's gruesome. This is creepy, but it's not gruesome. And you know, some things like this is so over the top that it's not creepy, it's amusing. I think I'm going to be challenged to find, there's the Wheel of Fortune, this Five of Swords with people being literally stabbed in the back is, you know, sort of creepy. This guy's kind of creepy. But you know, some of the cards are less so, like the Three of Swords. This guy, again, is almost too amusing to be creepy. So I'm not going to include him. The Three of Swords is no longer gruesome. Whoops. Maybe the Emperor too. I mean, look at the mug on that guy. I mean, that's just so funny. Of course, anybody who's creeped out by clowns, they might find that creepy, but to me that's not creepy. I'm not creeped out by them. So yeah. Okay, so some people might find this creepy with a hand coming out from the wall. So I'll do that. We're almost done. So, you know, is this somewhat more creepy than a traditional? Well, yeah, but. But it's so clearly a phantom of the mind that I don't even think of that as creepy. The devil, but can we ever say that the devil is not creepy? So I'm not going to count that one either. I would almost say that this death card is less creepy than a traditional one. So I'm not including it either. Okay, yeah, this is creepy. I mean, really, it's amusing, but I could see how some people would be creeped out by it. And maybe the Hanged Man as a vampire. So, you know, not a lot. You know, not as much as, say, my Gothic tarot. I don't know about the Ghost tarot. Anyway. So there we go. I now have, I was thinking, well, maybe the Santa Muerte might be, I would say, creepier, but it's like all of, well, not all of them, but I don't know. It's like, I feel like none, because I don't have a high tolerance for gore or things that are really creepy, things that are really kind of what maybe could be termed deviant or something like that. I just don't have a very high tolerance for those things. And so any deck that I get is not going to be completely prohibited from use at other times. Any Halloween-y themed, you know, October, early November, whatever themed decks, I don't feel are limited. You know, the Santa Muerte is so vibrant with its colors that it could be used, I think, at any time. Not for anybody, not for everybody, but at any time. And I think really if you introduced it, it could probably be used. You know, you just have to introduce it and say, hey, this is a deck that has skeletons in it. It's really pretty, but it has skeletons. Is that going to freak you out? You know. And the Gothic is the closest that I think I have that couldn't be used for other sorts of things. The Ghost Tarot is actually quite good for love readings. So yeah, there we go. The Dark Mansion Tarot, another deck that I will feel guilty, well, I shouldn't feel guilty, right, because it gave me that Four of Swords. Deck that I will feel guilty about not using because it's so fabulous. So fabulous. Anyway, take care, everybody. See you soon. Bye-bye.